Hey guys, it's Dan, Adam, and Dave here with the It's a Mimic podcast. No doubt you are all paying attention with rapt attention to the state of the world right now and all of the craziness that is ensuing. Like many other podcasts and businesses and various other things around, we're going to respond as well, but we are committed to kind of providing you guys content. So we're not quite going to shut down. We're just modifying what we're doing.
We're going to be keeping our social distance here. There are a few people that are already affected in our personal lives in various ways, and we are going to try to keep ourselves under self-imposed isolation for the most part. And so what that means is that we're going to have to remotely contact each other, and we're trying to sort out what the technical aspect of that looks like and what we're going to be able to do to be able to bring you guys content, but it will not look the same as it does up until this point. So unfortunately, the regular podcast and the campaign builder are going to go on hold. They are going to come back. We promise that this is not the end of It's a Mimic. And we are going to kind of shift gears into a handful of small mini-series and unique different ideas. And we're going to try to get everybody in the panel geared up with as much tech as we can to be able to get as many voices on a regular basis, so that you guys still have something to listen to while Critical Role and everything else is shut down as well.
One thing I'm really looking forward to with this change of pace that's going on is maybe, hopefully, running a one-shot, get you guys to feel my wrath for once. Change it up a little bit. I have some revenge. I kind of want to kill Megan again. I really liked that the first time.
You know what? We'll see what we can do. But, so we're going to be thinking outside the box. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently, but we still want to stay engaged with you guys. If you have any thoughts or concerns or anything, reach out to us at info@itsamimic.com. And of course, we'll still be on all the podcast catchers and hopefully getting our YouTube straightened out and up and running sometime in the near future. But until then, stay safe.
Wash your damn hands.
Stop French kissing every doorknob you find.
Dave.
And please keep your social distance and use common sense. All right, so guys, I want to know your opinion about something about Rangers before we dig into it. There's kind of an unspoken rule about Rangers and Druids in particular that everybody, especially Rangers, everybody kind of looks at and they want it, but it's not really hard baked into 5th edition anymore. It's an old holdover, the Animal Companion. How do we feel about animal companions? Let's grab dice and let's talk about it.
That 20.
17.
I'm going last with a 15?
Yep.
Fuck y'all. All right. Dave?
So I love the idea of animal companions. I hate the mechanic of animal companions. It's just another thing to run during the session. Did your guy go yet? Did your animal companion go? Does he go before you? Does he go after you? Is it on your turn?
Are you wasting a bonus action on him?
It's just I like fast games. I don't like wasting time doing menial things. And the amount of impact that an animal companion normally has just doesn't seem like it's worth the time that you put into it. I've seen people sit down and write these big backstories for their animal companion and give them names and get really attached to them, and then they don't even talk about them for 2 sessions until it's convenient for them to come back the next time. It's a great idea. Everybody loves having a pet dog, right? Well, most people anyways.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a great idea, but it just doesn't apply.
It doesn't fit in combat.
No, not unless you've got a lion, which I think would be kind of difficult.
It's very easy to unbalance either negatively or positively animal companions in a party, right? Like, how much
either they're dead in a hit or they're another party member.
Yeah, and it's very hard to kind of find that in between, especially when you have things like Xanathars, which have come out with the spell Beast Bond. Mm-hmm. Which basically just makes your animal companion a familiar.
Yep.
Right? It gives you the ability to talk to it telepathically and tell it to do things, which removes...
But it still dies. It's not like a familiar word will come back over and over again, right? When it dies, it dies.
Yeah, right? So what you got to do is... People get far too attached to animal companions, and if they do, I think it's a homebrew in my world where I am okay with people equipping their animal companions with things and items that help them. So what I was going to say for my answer is yes, I love animal companions. I've always loved animal companions and familiars and all those other things. As a DM, I love them. As a player, I love them. They help bring a lot of character to a player, or sorry, a lot of character to a character, but also at the same time give me something as a DM that I could kind of target to instill emotion if a battle's going poorly, right? Now, I will almost always pull my punches when it comes to mounts, animal companions, and familiars. Almost always I'll pull my punches. I won't necessarily kill them all out in one hit unless you're bringing that regular riding horse into a level 20 campaign. Then maybe, but like I love them. I think they need to be a part of, but I agree with you. The rules are lacking, and they need to be there.
Okay, I'm just going to make it real short and sweet for me. I think that animal companions are inherently about roleplay, but more importantly, exploration, and they're not really about combat. There are some that will give you pack tactics, but that's about it, right? So our problem here is when we talk about mechanics, we're talking about combat, right? But when it comes to exploration, having a hawk or having a dog that can sneak forward, or a rat, or whatever it is, this can make a world of difference.
Yep.
So in my opinion, animal companions, it's not that they're imbalanced, although you're right when it comes to combat, it's that they're improperly utilized.
And they are most well utilized during a aspect of this game that we have all agreed at this table multiple times is very poorly defined.
And not really paid attention to by most tables.
You're right. Like, they do have more useful in role-playing. They're more useful in role-playing. But, I mean, no matter what kind of game that you play, the one constant between everybody's groups is combat. And it just doesn't fit that. Right? Like, it is inherently not great.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Ultimate, yay or nay on an animal companion? Would you, if you're making a character, would you include an animal companion for yourself? Yes or no?
No.
Yes. Every time.
I would not.
Welcome to the It's a Mimic podcast with your DMs, Adam, Dan, and Dave.
Welcome to another episode of the It's a Mimic podcast, the Roundtable Dungeons & Dragons discussion, where you never know what you're going to get. I'm Adam, and with me are Dan and Dave. And today, we're talking about Rangers.
Again.
Okay, so for those of you who didn't pick this up the first time around, we actually talked about the player's handbook, Rangers, and the base class, and the revised Ranger in the previous Rangers episode. So you guys can go back and check that out. What we're going to talk about today is what Xanathar has to offer about Rangers, and specifically the 3 subclasses that are there, as well as the little bits and pieces of inspiration that they've given us.
Yeah.
So, guys...
I for one, and it's something I've noticed diving really big into these Xanathar classes, that little bit of inspiration they give you at the very beginning of every single additional like subclass feature section is brilliant every single time. I don't have any complaints about any of it.
I'm with you until now. This is the only time that I think that Rangers got the short end of the stick. And I'll make my argument here this is the only one that I don't like. Once again, the Rangers get a short end of the stick.
Yeah, I was about to say, They got a short end they've been getting the short end of the stick this entire edition.
Yes.
They used to be powerhouses in 3.5 and previous editions. Like, they were one of the best classes in the
there
game.
were so many feats just geared directly towards Rangers and ranged combat. Mm-hmm. And I mean, look, fighters, I say this again and again and again. Fighters and rogues can be ranged combatants. Rangers can be melee combatants. Mm-hmm. But nobody thinks that way, and it's really built around that. When you look...
Because range is right in the name. It's a ranger. It's not a meleeer. It's a ranger.
Boo. All right, no, but honestly,
when
you look at the art for Rangers, 9 times out of 10, they have a bow, a crossbow, or some sort of throwing implement, right? Like, it's... And then you'll see light swords that they're carrying. Mm-hmm. You don't see a ranger wielding a greatsword. And I'm like, why the fuck not? Right? The
inspiration is fucking Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. That's where a lot of
it was from Harry Potter.
I hate you. A lot of the class is built off that, and he's swinging a sword more than he's shooting a bow and arrow.
That's not all he's swinging. You know what I'm talking about.
His massive cock.
Daniel. Daniel. I'm overheating a little.
No, it's the rooster he carries with him in all the battles. Don't you hear it when he's swinging a sword?
So you're just committing to this bit then? Is that what's happening?
Sure, why not?
Wish you weren't so fucking awkward, bud.
Now I'm thinking, you ever see the Hot Shots Part 2? Where he pulls the bow out and then puts the chicken in it, shoots the chicken?
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome.
Fuck. All right, so here's what we have for Rangers in Xanathars, okay? There is a quick little breakdown, and then there are 3 kind of inspiration points. In the breakdown, it really hammers home the idea that they live on the outskirts of society, often as protectors, although sometimes that's an incidental aspect of who they are and why they do what they do. They have little use for society, or they could like society. It depends on what your Rangers like. That doesn't give me anything, right? Yes, we know that they're outdoorsy people. Yes, everyone either took Hermit or Outlander as their background for these guys, right? There's nothing additional in this blurb, and I'm not thrilled with it already. No. They've given me nothing new, and this is, if I'm gonna play a Ranger, he's already dressed in green and brown freaking leather pants, and he's got a bow on his back, and he's one of Robin Hood's merry men.
And there's like a twig stuck in his hair.
Yeah, that's more Druid for me than Ranger, but I'm on the same page. I wanted something more about them being different lands, the way that the Druid is. They're natural explorers. They've got all of these different lands that they can be attached to, all these different terrains, and yet we all just think of the forest, right? That's the only thing that we're thinking of with this.
Yep.
So they talk about the views of the world, homelands, and sworn enemies. Okay? Let's go one at a time through these. I'm going to cover views of the world. It starts right off the bat by saying a Ranger's perspective is based on how they perceive civilization, right? And that's not just necessarily their main perspective. That could be their entire gimmick to their characters, how they see the world. Right there, that is giving people permission to have a two-dimensional character. Your whole personality can be whether or not you like towns. I'm already turned off by this.
And to me, this is more of a Druid thing.
It really is. I feel like they talk about on the battlefield, it's impossible to tell the difference between one Ranger and another. So we don't have unique perspectives in combat, the most utilized pillar of 5th ed, right? Like, I'm not really inspired by this. So when they get to views of the world, I'm only going to go through a couple of these. Here, they give you 6 options on a random table. You can roll for it or pick your favorite or make up your own, but I'll give you a couple of the ones they give you. The advancement of civilization is the best way to thwart chaos, but its reach must be monitored. Well, so far now, the player that picks that one's a dick. Right? You can just hear the person say, you know what, I don't like your towns or your civilizations. This doesn't make any sense to me.
But you're a necessary evil, and I will just keep an eye on you.
Yeah, I will follow your laws because it suits me too for now. I'm not interested in that. That is RPG 101, yeah. Right? Let's move past that.
And this just gets more pretentious as you go down the list.
Walls are for cowards who huddle behind them while others do the work of making the world safe. Number 6, cities breed weakness by isolating folk from the harsh lessons of the wild. The rogues, who have swashbucklers and masterminds and what they're inquisitors, they're no longer the edgelords. It's the Rangers now.
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing, guys? Let's come up with more interesting perspectives on that. So that's what I want to talk about right away. Let's roll dice. I want to hear your opinions of this. Is it good or bad to lean into those tropes? And do you have a new idea beyond these that you want to add?
Got a 4.
7.
6.
Damn it.
All right, so first and foremost, I understand now that I've always said that a champion fighter, is how you introduce someone to D&D.
Okay.
All right. Now,
sure.
That is a broad generalization. I don't actually believe that, but it is one of the simplest class and subclass breakdowns to really get into somebody's head of how many attacks do you get? Oh, there's a critical range that you get, right? Like really breaking down the
basics.
Yeah, the basic mechanics of combat. I feel like these views of the world are the very first way that you introduce someone to role-playing. It is two-dimensional. It's for brand new players, and it is for people that need to get their edge out of their lord.
Yep.
Right? So...
These could be broader.
Yeah, I'm not... What, Dave? What?
Well, I thought paladins were more trying to get the edge out of their
Lord. Fuck right off.
Yeah.
And
maybe
Well
warlock.
done.
Yeah.
Maybe warlock. Warlocks are pretty edgy.
Well done.
Although paladins do have swords.
Well, so do some warlocks.
Yeah.
They literally summon swords into their hands.
Anyway, let's talk about rangers.
Okay.
So views of the world. Here's one that I want to see. I am a little socially awkward and don't know how to handle people, so I live on the outskirts. I would like to be able to help, and my dream is to be a folk hero. But I don't know how to handle people. That is rich for roleplay. And 99% of D&D players will understand and identify with it. But, no, seriously, that is something that is going to give you... If there's a goal attached to it. It's not just a declaration of your distrust of things, right? You can say that you don't understand, but you want to learn. There's somewhere to go with this character.
Yeah.
And even if it is a one shot, you can build a step in that direction, right? Or you can grow it over 20 levels in a 3-year campaign, right? Whichever way, there's something there to deal with it. And that's what I want more out of this. And I'm going to hit that nail on the head over and over and over and over and over again in this episode, because they really let us down in these first page and a half of the Ranger entry. So who was next?
Dave.
That was me. So when I was going through this before I got here, I looked at the views of the world. Now, I've never played a Ranger, so this was all kind of a little bit new to me. But when I looked at the views of the world, I started reading through the list that they have. And number 5, visiting a town is not unpleasant, but after a few days, I feel the irresistible call to return to the wild.
Is that you?
That is me, okay? I thought that, holy crap, I've never read a description in the D&D books that has described me so well. I have a term for it. I call it urban fatigue, okay? Being in cities and stuff, I can do it. I don't dislike it. But after a while, it starts making me go a little nuts. I need to go back out to the woods and just kind of reconnect and reestablish myself. What I thought...
hold on. I got to pause you, because I think that people are going to think that that's hippy-dippy druid bullshit. No. You're not reconnecting with nature and finding and communing with the animals and shit. You're cleansing yourself, and you're getting back the way that some people meditate, right?
Yeah.
You're finding yourself again without all the clutter around you.
Exactly, right? It's therapeutic, right? And it doesn't need to be any one thing in particular. It just needs to happen, right? I just need to decompress, right?
But I feel like as a role-playing option there, 99% of the people, the mass majority of them, are going to see number 5 and say, okay, after 48 hours in a town, I'm going to start to become a little bit more hostile to my fellow party members.
Well, I was actually going to kind of build on what was there, and some people, I know we do on Tuesday, play with a sanity stat.
Yep.
I like the idea that the longer you're in town, the lower your sanity. You lose your sanity stat.
Or I would just say that every 48 hours that you're in town, you roll again, and the DC gets higher and higher and higher.
Sure, that would work too. But make that work. Make this a useful part of your backstory, that.
Add a mechanic to it as well.
Exactly.
I think that honor would work with this. We talked about honor a few episodes back. That would work as well, because you would have a very low honor score, right? Because you were out in the woods reacting the way that animals react. It's weird that we got Dave for barbarians and rangers. That was completely accidental. But are there any other? I guess you're going to be back for druids, Dave.
I don't like druids.
That's because you're not druiding it right. Dan?
So I'm going to push back against both of you on this one. I like the view of the world. I think it's a good, let's say, targeted shot to get people out, like you said earlier, where it's it's a good stepping stone. But I don't necessarily think these ones presented here are terrible, as long as your character arc is to rectify these views. Because they're negative views, they're things you want your character to change. And they're things you want your character to change, not necessarily embrace as the character progresses, right? So you start off in this sense, and you start off with the whole discussion that, yes, we're a party, remember you're a party. So if you have something to do in the town, you're going in the town, right? If you're going to go talk to someone's, grandma, you're not going to walk in the door and the first thing you say to her is like, why do you live in this box in the middle of the stone towers?
I guess that's my point. Right? It really leans towards not having tact.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I think there's a little bit of interest playing a character who just doesn't have tact, even as a ranger. One of my favorite rangers was a character who didn't have tact. Now, the ones I've played.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I played a dwarf who was a just a military man ranger, way back in 3.5, and doing things investigations. He would just walk up and tell them how it is. Why? Because he doesn't understand why culture has to tiptoe around things. Why do we have to pussyfoot around every single issue? We should just tell it like it is, and we can be done with it. We can solve it. We can move on. We could be good, right? And that is how I feel Rangers should be. Now, I would like to see different views here. I think your Indiana Jones would fit in wonderfully here, where I need to reclaim these things so that culture remembers where they were. And you make them a little bit more of a historian, right? Like, you make them a little bit more of someone who remembers the way the world should be.
I don't read that in any of these 6 options.
No, in those 6 options, no. I'm adding a 7th.
Oh, okay.
Right? I think as if I was to do this and I wanted to have a view of the world, I would definitely make up my own. That is, you're not comfortable out here because you would rather, you're not comfortable in the city because you would rather be out learning or gaining lost information or something like that will help society in the monstrous form that it is now remember the way it started, right? I don't think Rangers necessarily need to be these loners out in the woods. They could be these guys who, like Dave, has to go to the woods to recoup and come back and maybe loves civilization and society, but the way civilization and society is doing it is wrong right now. He loves this ideal civilization and society. Right?
I do. I like that better. I like it better because I feel like these 6 are all the same thing to different degrees.
Yeah.
And I guess that's my main criticism is it's just...
these are all prisms of the same light.
Yeah. And so... Isn't a light to the same prism?
Sure.
God, you always flip the fucking idioms on me, Dan, and you just... God, fuck. All right. You did it to... I can't even remember what it was. You did it to me. You said on the same hand.
Yeah.
You said, oh my God. God,
at the same time.
Yeah, all right. Yeah. So, anyway...
I do it just for you.
No, you don't. And that's what's infuriating. No, I like the idea of them being more outside of the... outside of societal constructs, necessarily. But I don't like the idea that they're beyond civilization. One of the things that I loved about the revised Ranger... is that they had conclaves, right? They didn't have archetypes, right? I don't like the word archetype because every subclass is an archetype, right? It doesn't mean anything. There needs to be the paths and the oaths and the pacts. There needs to be a thing. And I really liked conclave because I like the idea of there being small groups of nomadic rangers that move around. These are our territories. We protect them. We hold the green menace out. From whether it's goblins or orcs or whatever, however you want to play it, right? We keep the enemies at bay, and as a reward, they bring us steel, right? And other than that, we're Robin Hood. Mm-hmm. We show up to, if you wait here, that on the night of the full moon, that will mark the 7 days where we will protect any travelers on this road to the dangerous forest. Right? And I like the idea of there being a little band of rangers, and that gives you something to latch the fuck onto instead of this, which is more loner, sit in the shadow by yourself.
Yeah.
Bullshit, right? So, anyway, let's stop listening to me bitch about the view of the world. Let's go to Homeland. Shall we? Well, let me give you a quick breakdown. Regardless of how they came to take up the profession, okay, so now Ranger is a profession. It's the only one that is. It's the only one that is a job.
Bard is a job.
Bard is a job.
Bard is not necessarily a minstrel. Bard can be a million different things, but they say right in this that every ranger is the same, and it is a profession. Bards are radically different one to the next.
I think you're reading too much into it.
I think you're reading too much into that as well. Like, because I go, clerics are a profession. A paladin is a profession. Just because you're a lifelong holy fighter or you are a lifelong holy man doesn't mean that's not your job. That is your job.
I think this was more of a victim of, we wanted to change the phrasing so it's not the same as everything else.
Yeah, I don't know. This really does feel like they're leaning into the idea that you're getting paid for ranging.
I mean, sure, these are the guys who are your guides. These are the guys who are your, like, you need to find this hidden spot in the wood? Okay, I'll take you for a price, right? And if you are playing this character, like if this is a PC, not an NPC, then you are playing this guy as I have been loaned from my conclave, or I have been assigned to take care of this with you, right? But rogues, all of the rogues I see as being professions. There isn't a single one where I go, that's not a profession.
Swashbuckler?
Yeah, I go, that's a profession.
That's a description of a person. To me, that's...
Well, no, you're a professional duelist.
Okay, a duelist is a profession, but a swashbuckler isn't, right? The same way that a swashbuckler is a way that you describe someone. It's more of an attitude than it's like bard. Yeah. But a bard is not a minstrel. You guys say bard is a profession. It isn't. A minstrel's a profession. A bard can be a poet. A bard can be a dancer. They can be many, many, many different things.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Right,
so you're saying the subclasses themselves are
there are
professions, but the base class itself is not.
That's right.
And this is the first base class description that targets itself as a profession.
Yeah, I mean, you could make an argument for clerics. You really could. But, I mean, how many clerics are out there that discovered their god and didn't know that the gods existed before? Like, it's...
Well, you could make the same argument for druids. Even some warlocks, you can make the same...
No, yeah, but my point is that not every cleric has to be brought up in a monastery or a church or a temple, right? Not every monk needs to be in a monastery. There are some that are, personal. They've learned their own techniques, their own ways and whatnot. But they just really phrase this to be like, hey, this is your job. And you can hear it in their options here. But first, before I jump into the options, they ask a couple of questions. What does the terrain say about your personality, right? And so what we're talking about here is a terrain that you grew up in. This is what you're the most comfortable in. This is your natural explorer terrain, right?
Yeah.
So what does it say about your personality? Does it influence which spells you choose to learn? Have your experiences there shaped who your favorite enemies are? Those are great questions. I think that makes a lot of sense for a ranger. But then we get, you patrolled an ancient forest. That's the first one. As part of a group of nomads. That's the second one.
You survived in the desert. Yeah.
Right? Like, there's just...
I think that the descriptions are a little two-dimensional. Again, like I said...
Here, let's roll initiative on this.
All right.
Fuck, I'm going last again.
I got an 18.
You're going first, Adam.
Okay. You started, and so I'm gonna continue with the idea. Yes, these are two-dimensional.
Yeah.
They are very much... Here are 6 different options, and here you go for you lived in a desert, and therefore you've acquired the skill for living in a desert. There's nothing to that.
No.
It's just an excuse to have a good survival check, which, in my opinion, should be about 6 different checks, but that's another podcast episode. You wandered the far north, learning to protect yourself and prosper in a realm overrun by ice. That doesn't give me anything. That just says ice is to the north. You're from the north.
No, the
homeland gives you nothing. So here's what I want.
And it's literally, if you've rolled a ranger and you have natural explorer, you've chosen this.
Yeah.
Right? There's no variation. There should be like a chart. These are your jungle ones. These are your desert ones. These are your tundra ones.
Yeah, so here's what I would say to someone who's going through this that wants something a little bit different. We talked before about the view of the world and about society, and now we're talking about homelands. What they should have just done is combined the two and said, you protect an ancient ruin lost in the swamp. Or you provide food to the people that are up in the north. And you are seen as a protector and provider.
Yeah.
Right? Combine the two. What I'm missing here is how society sees you and how you interact in this specific society in this region. Right? If you are one of these people that just wanders through the desert and whatnot, then you know where the ancient tombs and sarcophagi are buried.
Yeah.
And you help people loot some of these ancient graves, and you're very familiar with the older civilizations, or you automatically can speak, I don't know, lizard folk.
The way that 5th edition, just as an aside, does languages, period, annoys me.
All right, yeah, you're right. I'm with you. I really like how Eberron did it, right? And
Eberron's great.
All right, calm down, Dave. We can smell your boner from here. So who is next? So, but that's my thing. That's my thing.
Bathe.
Just bathe.
Just bathe, please.
That's my thing. Just bathe, Dave.
What? Huh?
Your turn.
So, no. I just combine the idea of civilization in these harsh extremes. And if you think about civilizations that are like up in the mountains, think about the Tibetan monks and whatnot. And the guide that gets the people to and from is the ranger there that serves the monks, right? That's what this is about, and that's what we should be thinking about this to add that extra third dimension.
My next ranger is going to be called Sherpa.
No, it will not. Or he may, but then there will be rocks fall, you die.
Yeah, probably.
So, Dave, what's yours?
So I think the idea of a homeland is a bunch of hokum. I don't think where you're from necessarily dictates who you are and what you grow up to be. It's a load of crap.
I just remembered dictator.
Penis potato. Anyways, continue.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, like this speaks to me, right? I was born in a large metropolis of a city and then moved to another large metropolis of a city, and the place that I am most comfortable is sitting up in the woods with a foot of snow all bundled up, helping my friends figure out how to do stuff up there.
How to gut a deer.
Yeah,
or how to set up a tent. Really, it's how to unpack their sleeping bags.
So
No, come on. What is it?
I'm going to tangent a little here.
You're allowed. God knows we don't tangent.
Never ever tangent.
Last time we went out for a week, we had a new shelter, and we were like, "Oh, this grade's gonna be awesome. It weighs like 500 pounds. It's awesome. We've got our big wood burning stove in and everything set up. Our cots. This is great. We're gonna live here for like over a week. It's gonna be wonderful." Go out, come back because it starts getting really windy, and we get back to the site, and it's lifted up the tent and moved it over like 15 feet.
Just the wind lifted it up?
Well, there was wind, yes, but the hail. My God, the hail. It covered everything in about 2 inches of hail. And, of course, the tent lifted up and moved, but that meant that all of our stuff that was in there was now outside, and everything was covered in snow and hail.
Did you not peg your shit down?
No, I didn't, and I screwed it up, and I felt so bad about it, because, like, this is what I do. Like, I thrive in
Remember
this
that time
scenario,
that you and I got lost on the
goofed.
mountain for like a day and a half?
I see. That was a learning experience. It was those kinds of things.
Dave's life is a series of these learning experiences.
It never ends. You can never be too old to learn.
Apparently, what you can learn from this episode is peg your tent.
Yeah, peg your tent. Guys.
There was a picnic table
I'm
that
glad
was
Terry's
made of
not
concrete.
here when we're talking about pegging.
Oh, well, I mean,
Continue.
he would.
Yeah.
But anyway, so what I'm trying to get at is this homeland thing. To me, it's a bunch of crap. I wouldn't even use it.
If I was to get all psychological on you, it'd be like you went from a metropolis to a metropolis. Hell, yes, not a huge jump of logic that you enjoy spending your time out in the woods away from it all. That makes sense.
Yeah, but
it's more than that.
I did it too, and I fucking love this city.
I would prefer to be outdoors at all times. I would prefer to be out in the woods, just like Dave, because, I mean, we grew up doing scouting together.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to do that, but there is a special, comfort zone of my form.
I don't know what your point is here. I was scouting with you two fucknuckets. So,
No, you weren't.
That's why we got lost.
No. It wasn't his fault, but you were scouting with my brother.
That's true.
Not with us.
Well, I put in 2 full years of scouting with you.
Did you?
Oh, yeah.
When?
In scouts. Fuck. Is it not weird to you guys that the scout is a rogue subclass and not a ranger one?
100%.
Fucking weird. Anyways, Dan, what's your thing?
All right. For me, homelands. I briefly mentioned it. I think there should be a detailed list. I like the fact that there are homelands. I mean, when you look at things like Barbarian, where they have their totems and they have all these interesting things that add flavor, I would remove homeland and put in something more along the line of, I don't know, actually break down what your conclave is. Like, detail your conclave in this section.
Yeah, they could, like, protect your land. In fact, they could be, like, some sort of Department of Homeland Security?
Or something like... Or they could be gnomes, and it could be a Department of Gnomeland Security. Anyways, we have... You break them down into...
You're breaking me down.
You're welcome.
I think the leader also of your conclave would probably be the most... You'd be the Power Ranger, right?
Naturally.
Yeah, of course.
His name is Zord.
And he's a druid, so he's a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger as well.
All hail the one true Zord.
Anyways, so what I would do is for homeland specifically, if we're gonna hold on tight to homelands, I would have options for different terrains rather than one option for every terrain.
Here's what I would like to do. I like what you're saying, and I would combine a couple of ideas here. I would have a list of random items on a table, which are your conclave, right? And then a number of opinions or emotions, and then on another random table, and then you have a random table of the society that you protected. How big were they? How what's a defining feature of them, and so on and so forth, and then their opinion. And you roll up these four things to determine your unique living scenario. And that would be an interesting way to come from your background. Maybe you don't love your homeland, but you're good at it and you understand it. Like, Dave, I know that you don't like big cities, but you can navigate downtown Vancouver better than anybody else.
I don't have a problem with it. I kind of like some people, right? Like, I don't mind interacting. I don't mind being, out.
Which people do you like? Name one. Yeah, exactly.
This
my
is taking
point.
too long.
So anyway, you guys at home don't hear that. We just cut out 6 minutes of silence.
Maybe another minute.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the last thing, we're in agreement then that Homelands is lacking.
Oh yeah, it's garbage.
All right. So
Hokum,
right. So the last thing,
Boulder Dash.
The last thing is
a bunch of flim flam.
Megan, once you get here. So
Bye.
okay, bye. I don't know what that is. I don't know how she did that. Anyway, so the last one is Sworn Enemy. Every ranger begins with the favorite enemy or two, it says.
What the fuck is this shit?
The determination of a favorite enemy might be tied to a specific event in the character's early life, or it might be entirely a matter of choice. Yes, those are the two options. Congrats. It's either something that happened in your past or something you're choosing now, right?
Yeah.
No, it could happen in the future.
Fuck right off. I'm just... There's nothing to this. This really feels phoned in. Once again, the ranger feels tacked on like a holdover. So...
I just love how it could be. It could be all of these options, or it could be anything that we didn't mention in those options.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Sworn enemies. Here are a couple of the options. You seek revenge on nature's behalf for the great transgressions your foe has committed. You bear no enmity toward your foe. You stalk such creatures as a hunter tracks down a wild animal. Yes, we're talking about rangers, you fuck. God
yeah,
damn.
but that's talking about, like, goblins. You don't hate goblins, but you kill them, and you're good at it. You're the best there is at what you do.
Yeah, but this is just the basics for rangers again.
That's the basics for racism, is what that is.
Yeah, like here's one that I've seen more times than I can count in D&D games. You find your foe fascinating, and you collect books of tales and history concerning it. Here's one that we talked about in the Barbarian episode because it's so fucking generic. You collect tokens of your fallen enemies to remind you of each kill.
Yeah, I kind of got that vibe as well when I was looking through it.
Arms up around the table. Who has had a character that collects ears?
Just you, Dan.
Oh, all right.
I collected genitals.
Yes, you did have the character that did that, yeah.
Yeah, I also collected skins for a while. And I don't mean like furs and pelts. I mean like intelligent animals skins. Like Goliaths and shit.
You are a terrifying person. But I've done like teeth. I did like eyeballs in a jar with one character. I just needed to collect eyeballs in a jar, but like that's...
We went over this again in the Barbarian episode. I do this. I collect a token when I get something, and that's just the spent round. I keep the spent round because I'm not a fucking psychopath, Dan.
Yeah, Dan.
Adam.
What?
You're a psychopath as well.
Like, it doesn't need to be a part of your quarry. It can be part of the journey.
You collect the arrowhead that you use to kill it because you're a ranger, or something.
Or you just carve the notch into the bow.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like whatever it is.
But this is something we talked about in the Barbarian episode.
Let's roll again, guys. We're gonna get distracted.
6,
5.
I don't know what I got.
12.
All right. Oh shit! I'm going first. Sweet. I'm awesome. So, this is the dumbest thing ever. It is. I love the idea of having an adversary, an enemy. I really, really, really wish that they would take this out of the Ranger section and just make it part of backstory and character creation, that everyone has a nemesis. Even if it was just the guy who bullied you. Mm-hmm. Right? Or the man that killed your father. Or the tax collector that made your farm destitute and it could be anything, but come up with it. Give me an entire section in the player's handbook or in the Dungeon Master's Guide about creating personal foes. Why is it 6 kind of generic? Again, very straightforward and basic options under Rangers in Xanathar.
So what would you give it instead?
What would I give Rangers?
You have 3 things to give it. You've hated all 3 of them.
You're right. I absolutely have.
Do you have a list of 3 that you would put in instead? That add just as much flavor as we saw in the totems and spirits and traditions for a barbarian.
Yeah, okay. So here's what I would do. I already said that I would mix the urban environment with the surrounding lands. All right, so that's one. You get to roll on multiple tables to build your ranger that way. My second one would be, instead of you, like, because we already have favorite enemy and natural explorer. What we don't have is natural expert, where you are just good at, now you understand how to use herbalism kits, or you're going to get advantage on animal handling, or there needs to be some other mechanical boon from being out in the woods besides survival. You can be proficient in survival.
But those don't belong here. Like, these are purely flavor.
Right, but
there should be no
that would be the flavor that I would put in here. Terry did this with every one of his characters, and it's absolutely phenomenal. He gives me an animal that his character is very similar to. So when he created Titus Hawkridge, it was the hawk. And because he was a knight, everything ended up with a hawk emblem. Right?
Oh, I thought they all would have been horn dogs.
Well, there was also that.
Okay.
But for Azrael, who was his cleric of the goddess of dreams, who was a war cleric, his was the emblem of snakes. And he just said, I really wanted it to be like a snake feel to everything that he does. I really like the idea of there being a lot of reptilian snake-like things from an alien mindset and a weird perspective, a point of view that we don't really understand, and a lizard brain, because he's all about the goddess of dreams, right? So he gives me this animal, not a spirit animal necessarily, but again, it's so close to barbarian, but I think that there's a really solid parable that you can have there with an animal companion. This is where I would put your animal companion.
Yep. I agree with that.
So that's my second one. And my third one would be, it would be your conclave.
Yep.
Really, right? Like, so how did you come to learn these skills? Because it's just thrown away as a detail in the background of the homeland portion, but only on some of them, not even on all of them. Right? So where is that? Where can we learn who your mentor was, or who taught you these skills? Were you abandoned in the woods? You had to fend for yourself, freaking Call of the Wild, or Swiss Family Robinson, or like, there's so many different ways to become a ranger.
Donner Party?
Well, that's no.
You want to know where my trainer, my master is? Well, burp. Unfortunately.
That's dark, Dan, and it makes me uncomfortable. So, who's next?
It was me.
I had a 6. You had a 5, didn't you?
No, I'm actually going second on this one.
Okay.
No, I'm pretty sure it was me.
Don't look at me, guys. I don't pay attention to what you guys even say. So,
Fine, Dan. You can go.
Ooh.
you are going to be getting cold coffee from this bitch from now on.
Apparently. Anyways, I agree with you. This is absolute bullshit. This should just be something that every single player rolls. I 100% agree with you on that one. In its place, I would want to put something because of the way I see Rangers, and just the way I like to play Rangers. Every Ranger should have a signature weapon.
Be it a hockey stick or a baseball bat. Whether or not they're from New York or Texas.
Calm down there, Casey Jones.
Oh, fuck.
That's not what Casey Jones sounds like at all.
No, but Dave just triggered my Minnesotan, apparently.
Apparently. Don't you know? Anyways.
Oh, fuck there, bud.
A plastic bag.
All right, Dan.
I love that so much. Anyways, so I would give you the ability to roll up some sort of signature weapon and why it's important to your character, right? Like, your character chooses the longsword because it's he carries his ancestral one with him, or something along those lines.
But again, like the concept of an ancestral weapon could be there for every single.
Yes, I know, but like this, like I'm saying, like not a favored weapon, a favored weapon. That is what I want. Like a something that, you know how you go off to the woods to meditate upon yourself. If your character's stuck in the city, what is he doing? What are they doing? Well, they're probably maintaining their gear as a way to kind of escape the bounds of civilization around them. So they're sharpening their swords. They're restringing their bows, re-oiling their bows. They're refletching their arrows. Like, there should be something here that has that to it.
I just want there to be more than swords and bows for Rangers, though.
No, I agree. And that's why there's a chart that you would choose, like axes or a mace, a whip, right? To go more into that.
Oh, calm down
Indiana
there,
Jones.
Terry. Calm down.
Not that kind of whip.
Dave?
Care to interject?
No.
It's your turn.
It is your turn.
All right.
Well, it was your turn before, but Dave took off, so.
First of all, what I would like to do is ask
But I would
everyone-
also like to see things like... Sorry.
Continue, Dave.
What I would first like to do is, I would like to ask everyone to write in and tell Dan that he was wrong. You all heard it. I know it. I rolled a 6. He rolled a 5. Justice for Dave.
Hashtag justice for Dave.
All right.
We'll be checking it on Instagram and Twitter.
Thank you. So, I again, like I said, I don't really know too much about Rangers. I haven't really played one in 5th edition.
Fuck, I hope there's not someone on death row named Dave that we're gonna, like...
Free hat, free hat, free hat. Yeah.
Continue, Dave.
So, again, as I haven't brought up yet this time, which you'll notice, I come from 3.5. In 3.5, the Rangers had a
do you
favored
now?
enemy.
Yeah.
Do they have something like that already?
Yes.
Yes.
They do? Okay. Because this really seemed like that to me. It felt like that was kind of where they were going with this.
Yeah, but it's so on the fucking nose. We've already covered that with one of the very basic first things that you get.
Which is why I think it's completely unnecessary.
Exactly.
Tokum.
Hokum.
Balderdash.
No.
A bunch of flim flam.
No.
Poppycock.
It's wiggity whack. Dave, all right, what would you put instead then?
Gee, you know what? I don't know. Again, because I'm looking at these and I think most of these are. I didn't like Homeland. I didn't like Sworn Enemy.
Homeland's a decent show.
But I look at them and there are, again, ones in here that just, they speak to me, right? I'm not sure I would remove
Which
it.
one? Which one speaks to you? You collect tokens of your fallen enemies to remind you of each kill.
Yeah, but I mean, sort of.
That's why you're not allowed to play sports anymore.
Number 4, you find your foe fascinating and you collect books and tales and history concerning it. I love reading the history of...
Ducks.
Yeah. Duck.
Fuck, really?
Yes, the conservation of ducks, the work that has gone into having ducks thrive is ridiculous. They're a migratory game bird, okay? They cross international borders. There are treaties that govern, international treaties that govern when I can go out and shoot ducks and not, right? It's fascinating. When I go to buy licenses, my licenses are dictated provincially. However, when I go to shoot ducks, that's a federal license. Did you know that even without any licensing at all, you can go buy a duck hunting license because everybody can? because it's a federal license. Different provinces regulate it different ways. Yes, I look at this stuff. I have books about it. There's a great guy, Aldo Leopold. He's an old frontiersman, okay? He's famous for this kind of shit. It's fascinating. This stuff speaks to me, but I hate it.
You've been listening to the Duck Hunting Podcast with Coffee Bitch Dave.
Honestly, this whole thing just seems ducking quackers to me.
Fuck off, Adam. God damn it.
So, hold on. So, you haven't played a ranger because you are a ranger in real life?
You're never on the bill again. Oh, you had to cough through my joke. You're never on the bill again.
Fine.
It's worse on the second time around.
It was pretty bad on the first time. But, I mean...
Yeah, but it was still worse on the second time.
It's okay. It's no water off my back, so there we go.
But no, like,
Hold on. Get down. It's a deep dive on a duck joke, Dan. You'll get it someday when you're older.
Oh, like down feathers?
yeah, how do you get down off an elephant? You don't. You get down off a duck.
Ranger jokes, hosted by Dave. There's gonna be like 9 different podcasts today.
Also, have you ever seen the
not
down
likely.
of a duck? It is crazy. Plucking PL. Okay, just because I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
Terry. There's so much.
Have you ever plucked a pheasant? Just defeated the two of them. That was really fun.
No, but I'd like to.
Oh, Dan's walked away. Oh, shit. Fuck. Can we move on now? Oh, please, go to a commercial.
Ducks are my sworn enemy. Yes.
Hello, you sexy people. This is Adam, and I just wanted to thank you for listening to this episode. If you don't have Instagram or Twitter, then you don't realize that we are running a giveaway right now. So find the posts on Instagram or Twitter and tag 2 friends. For every 2 friends that you tag, you will get an entry into our contest. You'll be able to ask us a question that we will devote a small episode to, and we will also send you a Mimic Mini. So please. Oh, shit!
Damn it, Adam, not again!
Okay, so make sure that you enter the contest as quickly as possible and get as many of your friends on there as you want. Okay, bye! Okay, as Daniel and Terry would say, and we're back. So, before we jump into the archetypes, here's a really quick breakdown of what Rangers get, okay? So, first of all, they do get favorite enemy. I think they get a couple of them, don't they? No, they only get the one. They get a couple of natural explorers, which they have as well, which gives you your terrain-based stuff. You get a fighting style, archery, defense, dueling, or 2-weapon fighting. You get some up to 5th level spells, but they're from the Ranger spell list. They're divine spells, strangely. That still seems weird to me.
They're nature-based, just like the Druid.
Yeah, they share a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
You get primeval awareness, so you can detect if there's aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, and undead. But it doesn't actually tell you where they are or how many of them there are. You get an extra attack. What?
It just annoys me that your primeval awareness gives you the ability to find all the things that don't belong in nature. But you're the guy who hunts things in nature, so you should probably have some sort of ability to find the things.
Yeah, but me as a DM, let's say that you can do this. You can smell that they're undead on the air, and me as a DM say, and the wind is a northward, gust coming.
Yeah.
Like that's up to me as the DM to lead you in an exploration to go find them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right. So you do get land stride, which means you bypass all your difficult terrain that's non-magical. You also have an advantage on saving throws against plants. You get hide in plain sight, which is stupid overpowered. You have vanish, so you can use a hide action as a bonus action on your turn, and you can't be tracked by non-magical means unless you choose to leave a trail. Feral senses, which means that you get preternatural senses that help you fight creatures that you can't see. And you get Foe Slayer, which means you become an unparalleled hunter of your enemies. And so on each of your turns, just once, you can add your wisdom modifier to an attack roll or a damage roll. So, I mean, that's good. Wisdom is your spellcasting ability as well. So that's going to have
Wisdom is going
in
to
it.
be one of the stats you pump as a ranger.
So that's what you get. But now let's talk about what each one of these subclasses have to offer. So let's grab our dice and roll, because we're going to do the 3 that are in Xanathars.
Which are the Gloom Stalker, the Horizon Walker, and the Monster Slayer.
All right, fine. Just blow the load early. You do that every one of the class episodes where I'm like, oh, and then we'll reveal who's going to do what. And you're just like, and I'm doing this. I hate you.
Love you too, buddy. Oh, look, it's 16. I'm going first.
I feel like you were going to anyways.
All right, so Dan, which one of those things that you just totally spoiled early do you have?
I got the Horizon Walker, which is...
Can I ask you a question? Have you seen one of these in action?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I've actually seen 2 of them in action.
I DM'd against one of these things, and they're nutty.
Yeah. So Horizon Walkers are those who protect the natural world from the planes.
It's weird that this ended up on Rangers to-do list.
It is weird, but I like it. Like we talking about those first 3 things there that they put in Xanathars to give you inspiration. These 3 subclasses are some of the most flavorful sons of bitches out there.
I really...
I freaking love these things.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes up for the weakness.
It does. It really, really does. So Horizon Walkers are, of course, your... they call them archetypes. Fuck it. I'm just going to say Conclave. They are your Ranger Conclave that you get at 3rd level as you go in. And your entire goal as a Horizon Walker to be part of this group are to... seek out and close or keep watch over planar portals and keep planar influence out of the natural world.
Can I just say before we go any further than that, we've spoken about planes a little bit, especially the Feywild and Shadowfell, which I think are going to be the 2 that you run into the most in regular D&D out in the wilderness, right? Yeah. If you're going to run into a portal, I don't think that just think portal, think of thin spots between realities. We've really touched on that before, and I just wanted to circle back again. And just these rangers would know that in this area, the ethereal is very close.
Yep.
Or in this area, when between 2 and 3 a.m., whenever there's no moon, the Feywild, influences this field, this copse of trees, whatever it is, right?
No, I freaking love it, right? So these guys are the ones who are working to preserve life and the order of the planes, and they're going to do it in a number of ways. Right off the bat, you're getting your Horizon Walker magic, which are additional spells that you get to add to the Ranger spell list, and every single one of these is amazing. At 3rd level, you get protection from evil and good. At 5th level, you get Misty Step. At 9th level, you get haste. At 13th level, you get banishment. And at 17th level, you get teleportation circle.
I have to say, the most frustrating thing in the world is a ranger with fucking Misty Step. It is just game breaking.
Or blink. Like the 2 of them kind of work hand in hand. And yeah.
Do they get blink?
They don't get blink. They get a blink-like thing.
Yeah, all right. Well, keep going.
Which I will get to. So they get to add these spells to the Ranger list. They also get, at 3rd level, the ability to detect magically the presence of a planar portal within a mile of you, and you know the distance and direction of it. So if there's one of these thin veils between the planes, your Ranger is able to pick up.
This is one of those things that your DM has to know that you have.
It's one of the things that your DM has to know that you have, and it has to be a set piece ability, because it is going to be one of those ones that is easily ignored. So if you don't put a little bit of a spotlight on it, it'll just get forgotten completely.
We said in the other Ranger episode that you always have to... Rangers make you have to work closely with your DM about campaign prep, right?
Yeah.
So your DM needs to know what terrains that you're good at, what your favorite enemies are, so that you can face them, and so on and so forth. This is more of that.
This ability also gives you just a little thing that I rarely see. It gives you and your DM a little hint of, hey, just go look at this spot in the Dungeon Master's Guide for examples of what planar portals look like. Right? Incredibly helpful. Go take a look at it. I personally like the approach where they are thin veils, like we mentioned. But occasionally a portal breaking through works perfectly with these guys.
Yeah, I like that as well. And when your big bad evil guy rips open a portal from the hells to say he's back, your ranger goes, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, right.
From a mile away,
you know where he is. Also, at 3rd level, you get the ability to. I like what it says. Draw on the energy of the multiverse to augment your attacks.
That is bullshit nonsense.
So, as a bonus action, what you get to do, you choose a creature you see within 30 feet of you, and whenever you hit, the next time you hit that creature with a weapon attack, all damage dealt is force, and it takes an extra D8 force damage from that attack. When you reach 11th level in this class, the extra damage equals to 2d8. So, as a bonus action, by the way, there's no limit to the amount of times you do this in a day.
No, but it's once per turn, right?
Yeah, once per turn as a bonus action. You can choose to say the next time you hit, you're going to do an extra 2d8, and it's force damage, which is one of the least resisted damages out there.
Yeah, but I mean, that's going to be mitigated by the fact that you are going to spend your bonus action as a ranger on Zephyr's Strike and Hunter's Mark a lot.
Yeah.
So as much as this is powerful, it's not going to be every single round.
Yeah. They have a lot of bonus action stuff. That's the one mitigating thing here. At 7th level, you get the Ethereal Step, which as a bonus action, you cast Etherealness on yourself, and it only lasts for the end of the current turn. And then it regens on a short or a long rest.
Hold on. The thing you missed is you do not expend a spell slot for this.
No.
You cast Etherealness as a bonus action, fucking at will.
Yep. Now, what that'll let you do is that basically just lets you move throughout the ethereal plane. Effects that are present and objects that are present in the material plane won't affect you. So you could kind of just move yourself around. You don't get additional movement speed or anything, but you can move yourself around as a bonus action with relative ease, with no care in the world. If you do manage to pop back into the material plane where an object would block you, you are just shunted over to the next closest available unoccupied space. So Etherealness is a great spell. But it being limited to your character movement basically just means your character moves with impunity across the battlefield. This is taking disengage on crack, is what this ability is.
I want to go back to the Ethereal Step.
Yep.
For just a moment here, because I just looked up Hunter's Mark to catch the wording, expecting it to say, you know where your prey is as long as you're on the same plane as it.
Yep.
No, that doesn't exist. Hunter's Mark, if you cast it first and then do this, your Hunter's Mark stays, which is incredibly powerful again. The thing about, I've seen Ethereal Step in action, and it defeated me as a DM for a long time. When one of my players picked up this specific feature, it was incredibly difficult for me to keep up with because she was a powerhouse. With the extra attacks and the force damage being done, the ability to Misty Step and move around, there was no way to pin her down. Your ranger will be the last person standing in the party, even longer than the cleric, because of this. Even longer than the barbarian.
They do mitigate this with you are back in this realm at the end of this current turn. Not this round, this turn. So it's only for that movement that you have, right? You're spending this, you only get the movement, and then you're back in the material plane. It does not last a long time. However, at 11th level, you get Distance Strike. And what Distance Strike lets you do is, when you take the attack action, you teleport up to 10 feet before each attack to an unoccupied space you could see. If you attack 2 different creatures with that action, you can make 1 additional attack with it against a 3rd creature.
See, this Misty Step, Ethereal Step, there's so much going on. Like, they're impossible.
Yeah. At level 11, they are 100% impossible to hit, pin down. You cannot tie them up. The only way to take out a Horizon Walker is to blow them up.
Yeah, because, and I want to say this again, when you're in the ethereal plane and whatnot, anti-magic fields don't affect you.
No.
You can cast Etherealness, walk into the anti-magic field or where it is, on the ethereal plane and then pop back into existence in the anti-magic field. You can bust through force fields. You can
walk through walls.
You can walk through Lehman's tiny hut.
Yep.
It is ridiculous the shit that you can do with this.
Yeah. At 15th level, you get Spectral Defense. This is going to be your last ability here. You get the ability to move between planes. At 15th level, you get the your ability to move between planes enables you to slip through planar boundaries. Basically, when you take damage from an attack, you can use your reaction to give yourself resistance to that attack's damage.
But just on the rest of this turn.
Just for that attack. Specifically, that attack. So if you got attacked by two guys swinging swords, and you give yourself resistance on one of them, you don't have resistance on the next one, even though they're the exact same sword.
You know, this is going to be incredibly useful for some of the more weird bullshit damage things, like when Disintegrate hits you, and, you know, if it's a certain amount of damage, then you're able to mitigate it. Like, even Finger of Death, right? Like, there's a lot of high-powered stuff. Meteor Swarm.
The one thing about this that I am stunned at is this is a straight-up at will. As long as you have your reaction, you could do this. There's no limit to the amount of times a day you could do this ability, right? So your Disintegrate, your big bad who throws that one big spell. Well, now my guy's got resistance to it because I just decided to.
Yeah, even legendary creatures have legendary resistances 3 times a day. That's it, right? This just leans even further into the idea of A, power creep, and B, players being the superheroes of the D&D world.
Also, the wording of this is after you've been hit by the attack. So, you don't have to declare you're doing this until your DM has rolled damage, which means if you are rolling if you're succeeding on saves and stuff like that, you don't need to worry about this. Also, if you succeed on a dex save and decide you have resistance for that spell's now doing a quarter damage to you. It adds up quick.
This is ridiculous. This becomes the impossible to kill character, and I'm going to go out of my way as a DM to fuck with this character about every third combat.
Well, one of the ways that you did this that I saw at the table was you made the ethereal plane fucking scary, right?
Oh, it's populated. There's shit in there. Don't go there.
So the ethereal plane is not like, yes, it's a transitive plane, but that doesn't mean that it is an empty plane. Right? So, and you did this with more than just creatures and other things there, like spirits occupy the ethereal plane, but also the ethereal plane amplifies tears in reality. This guy's all about portals. Guess where you're going to put some of the worst portals? In the ethereal plane.
Yeah, one of the things that I did as well is that every portal, when you're in the ethereal plane, every portal looks like a glowing white door. Right? And some of those doors, some of those archways do not have doors, and they're permanently open. Gods automatically scry into the ethereal plane. When you're in there, every god knows what you're doing. There are some things that are like, sure, you can do this whenever you want, but it is freaking scary. Now, I was trying to lock down the ethereal plane for a few reasons in my own campaign, like story reasons, but I just reskinned a bunch of the weird Shadowfell and Fiend options in Mordenkainen and just be shadow creatures, right? So that's... I like the ethereal plane, but I really wanted it to be more of the upside down.
Yeah, no, I get you. Yeah, it really should be. I agree with you. Adam, you're next. What you got for us?
I got my personal favorite ranger archetype of all time. I'm so stoked about this. I played it to great effect in a low-level campaign.
Yeah, you did.
Brad is going to have PTSD listening to this because I murdered his fucking character with one of these guys. That is the Gloom Stalker. And I love it. Gloom Stalkers are the... edgiest of ranger edgelords. They are just absolutely like, I stick to the shadows, and the shadows are my best friend. I was born in the dark. Right? That is what these guys are. So, most folk enter such places with trepidation, but a Gloomstalker ventures boldly into the darkness, seeking to ambush threats before they can reach the broader world. I'm going to tell you this before I say anything else. Stack this with an assassin. Multi-class into an assassin with this. And for fuck's sakes, let me go through it. First and foremost, You get 3 things at 3rd level again. I really like that for Rangers. A lot of things get 2 things at 3rd level in the player's handbook. The 3 at 3rd level makes you feel a little bit more sitting, like you're sitting in your niche better. So you get Gloom Stalker magic because, I mean, if Horizon Walkers get it, so will the Gloom Stalker. You can, at 3rd level, disguise self. At 5th level, you get Rope Trick. At 9th level, you get Fear. At 13th, you get Greater Invisibility, and I will explain why that doesn't fucking matter in a minute.
Yeah.
And 17th, you get Seeming. That's just overpowered and bullshit crazy right from the beginning. Again, these just become part of your Ranger spell list. So, Dread Ambusher is the next thing at 3rd level, which means you are just badass at ambushing things. You give yourself a bonus to your initiative rolls equal to your wisdom modifier. And at the start of your first turn of each combat, your movement, your walking movement, not flying or anything, but your walking movement increases by 10 feet, which lasts till the end of that turn. And if you take the attack action on that turn, you make 1 additional weapon attack as part of that action. And so at 3rd level, you get 2 attacks. You're one of the only things that can do it. You and monks, probably. Right?
With Fury, yeah.
Yeah, right?
Or Flurry.
Well, it could be a Furious Flurry. Or a Flurious Fury. And then, but you actually, if you hit, they take 1d8 of that weapons damage type on top of what you're already doing. So you just, out of nowhere, you hit with this. You stack that with the Assassinate thing, right? You're just laughing with your sneak attack, Assassinate, and this. And because you have the bonus to initiative, which you'll get from both classes, right? It's crazy. So anyway, you also get Umbral Sight. You gain Dark Vision out to a range of 60 feet. And if you already got it, you just gain an additional 30. So you can see in the dark, but you are also, and this is my favorite thing, you are adept at evading creatures that rely on dark vision. While in darkness, you are invisible to any creature that relies on dark vision to see you in the darkness. That right there just means that you were the sneakiest sneak that ever sneaked.
Yep. You got dark vision? So what?
Yeah, and considering that you get all sorts of crazy shit, like you can't be tracked by non-magical means in the base ranger class, you are just a ghost. Mm-hmm. At 7th level, you get Iron Mind, which essentially just gives you proficiency in wisdom saving throws. If you're already proficient in it, you just choose intelligence or charisma instead. You get, at 11th level, Stalker's Flurry, which means that you learn to attack with such an unexpected speed that you can turn a miss into another strike. So if you miss, you get to make another weapon attack as part of the same action.
Ridiculous.
That's on once on each of your turns. So you essentially get to try again. On the 15th level, you get Shadowy Dodge, which means you can dodge in unforeseen ways with wisps of supernatural shadow around you. Whenever someone makes an attack roll against you and does not have advantage on the roll, now keep in mind, you're probably fucking invisible by this point because you get greater invisibility 2 levels ago and you have this crazy Umbral Sight nonsense, right? So if they don't have advantage on the roll, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on it to make it even harder to be hit. But you have to use it before you know the outcome of the attack roll.
Yeah, okay.
So, like, they can roll dice, but before you know, you've got to declare this. This is another thing that makes Rangers incredibly hard to hit. When I played the Gloom Stalker, Charm Dimeshore, he was a halfling. He would sit on the outskirts of whatever combat it was and find a shadowy, dark place to hide in and just pepper things from a distance. Mm-hmm. Right? And that's all he did. He sat as far away as possible and was just casting magic and nobody knew where it was coming from. Or he was shooting from a distance and nobody knew where it was coming from. He would turn a corner and just like disappear into the shadows. This guy he outrogued rogues.
Easily.
And it's weird that Scout is a rogue and this is a ranger. I like it for ranger, but again, I'm trying to remember which episode I said it on. There are some classes that I think are just holdovers. They don't need to exist. We could take all of these subclasses and just put them on other ones. Mm-hmm. This really feels like it could be a rogue or even a monk. Like we have shadow monks and stuff, right? Like why not this? So I like it for the ranger. It's a lot of fun, and with the ranged stuff that you can do, it's crazy. But I don't know why the rangers are not just subclasses of fighter.
Okay, yeah, no, the under support of the class, I would agree with you on that. Like they should just be fighters. But
when you get into the subclasses, some of them need to go in other places, and this one I think is very roguey, and I really like it. I like it because it's not the rogue that steals. I like it because it is super different from everything else on the battlefield.
I personally hate the Gloom Stalker.
Because you had to DM against it?
Well, not only because I had to DM against it, but yes. But it you said like the Horizon Walker kind of broke you as a DM. The Gloom Stalker broke me as a DM. Because I have never had more you could do pardon moments as a DM than with you as your Gloom Stalker.
To be fair.
Because add on top spells, add on top all these other fucking little abilities that they have. Like, everything just, it feels so rogue, it was weird coming from a ranger.
To be fair, I was the only person at the table that had more than 2 years of experience, let alone 10.
Yeah.
And most of the other people at that very large table were total novices, and I was running around just fucking shit up. And sitting on the outskirts, trying not to run every session.
Yep.
So it was fun for me to stay in the distance and do my own thing. Let them figure out how their powers work. I will be 80 feet that way. Just picking off the guys that you don't realize are trying to flank you.
Yep.
Right. And so it was me countering Dan. A lot of times it was chess.
Yeah.
Right. And so
and I was losing as the DM quite often. And until you and I
decided to team up and make my character accidentally secretly evil.
Yeah.
And possess him with an elder god who then betrayed the party and murdered how many of them? 3?
Directly to one of them was just kind of fallout. Like
That's true.
I don't think you meant to kill the last one.
6?
But
no. 7 characters entered, 3 characters left, and one of them was me.
Yeah.
But I also took the NPC with me.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Oh, that was
that session goes down in infamy. I still hear about it consistently from that party. I can't talk to any of that group except for Dan and Brad. The rest of them they just don't like me anymore because of this.
I don't think that's true.
You don't see the hate mail I get.
No, but I see the hate mail I get. Anyways, Dave, what you got for us?
The reason you get hate mail is because you interrupt people when they're trying to go, Dan. Is it my turn now? I can go? You're not going to go again?
Is that why you've been sitting there quietly?
I didn't want to be interrupted.
For the last 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
You've got to learn to just talk over Dan, because he will just interrupt you with coughing.
All right, so I got the Monster Slayer, which
is the most badass name. Gloom Stalker is just a little bit too emo.
Well, I have a question. Is it the Monster Slayer or the Monster's Lair?
No, that's where you go to kill the monster.
Yeah,
you go to the monster's lair.
Well, no, because the monster's lair is the bard, right?
What?
The lair of monsters?
Well, he sets them down for bed?
Yes.
And tucks them in and reads them a bedtime story because he's a bard?
Yeah.
This is a rated G podcast, Dan. You need to calm your tits.
Is it?
No. You just told me to calm my tits. No,
what?
It's not.
Did I?
Anyways, continue on with your not a bard.
I feel like every character in D&D is a monster slayer. It's an unoriginal name.
Yeah, but I still like it's still more badass than Gloomstalker or Horizon Walker. I like it because in my head it's Slayer the band.
Okay, it's just like a bunch of monsters like jamming out.
Yeah,
blood raining down on them.
Yeah, they're kind of guar.
The reason why I don't like it is because there's a fighter subclass called the Monster Hunter. Huh?
Well, I mean, hunting and slaying is not the same thing.
No. There's also Beast Master and Battle Master. Those ones always baffle me.
Yeah.
I get them backwards when I'm ranting. So,
but the Monster Slayer, they're the character that kind of comes out. They seek out like vampires, dragons, fiends, that kind of stuff.
Oh, they're out there for the big bads.
Yeah, they use supernatural techniques to, kind of...
But my point is they're not hunting myconids.
No, they're going after worthwhile foes.
Yeah.
What did Mike ever do to them? What did Mike Onids ever do to them?
Okay. Stop interrupting poor Dave. Hashtag
Justice for Dave.
Justice for Dave.
So they, like the other two, also have 3 third-level subclass archetype features. Is that where we're going with, Dan?
Subclass features.
Yeah. So they get Monster Slayer Magic, Hunter Sense, and Slayer's Prey.
What are these?
Monster Slayer Magic, you've got Horizon Walker Magic and Gloom Stalker Magic. It's right in the name. It's magic that's particular. This one in particular gets protection from evil and good at 3rd level.
I want that to be a sound clip. It's magic that's particular.
Yes.
You sound like Perd Hapley.
At 5th level, they get Zone of Truth. 9th level, Magic Circle. 13th, Banishment. And 17th, Hold Monster. None of these seemed that inspiring to me.
Hold on, go through that list again, because I was...
Protection from evil and good.
Eyes at Dan, yeah.
Zone of Truth at 5th.
Zone of Truth is more powerful than I ever wanted to be, but continue. As a DM,
but it's not applicable in every...
Yeah.
When it works, it's great, but the amount of times that you're going to use it...
Yeah.
It's... 9th level, Magic Circle.
Yeah. Magic Circle is fucking pain in the ass. Do you know Magic Circle?
No.
All right, so hold on. I'm going to break this down because you're not wild about it. And to be fair, it's an uninspired name.
While you look that up, I just want to briefly discuss the hashtag Justice for Dave, which is an established hashtag. I just looked it up.
Uh-oh.
You would be joining forces with Dave.
Yes, we figured that shit out there.
Who is a boxer that apparently a small group of people on the internet are really upset didn't win Best of Show one year.
Like a dog boxer.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like a fucking...
Like a dog.
You thought he meant like a Porsche boxer?
Yes.
Because it's a Boxster.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
No one on this podcast or any of our listeners understands cars, Dave. Know your audience. Fuck. It's nerds. Anyway, so Magic Circle. You create a 10-foot radius. Dave, stop diddling Dan. You create a 10-foot...
We're looking at dogs together.
Yeah, is that Dave?
Yeah, that's Dave.
He's handsome, just like every other Dave.
I think we should reappropriate this hashtag.
Yeah.
Justice for Dave.
Justice for Dave.
So, Magic Circle, it's a 3rd level spell. It takes a minute to cast.
Takes time to draw a circle.
Yeah, and it lasts for an hour. You create a 10-foot radius, 20-foot tall cylinder of magical energy centered on a point on the ground that you can see within range. Glowing runes appear, blah, blah, blah. Choose one or more of the following types of creatures. Celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead. Okay, so I'll do that again. Celestials, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead. Short of dragons, those are your big bads.
Yep.
Yeah.
The creature can't willingly enter the circle by non-magical means. If the creature tries to use a teleportation or interplanar travel to do so, it must first succeed on a charisma saving throw. The creature has disadvantage on attack rolls against targets within the cylinder. Targets within the cylinder can't be charmed, frightened, or possessed by the creature. And when you cast a spell, you can elect to cause its magic to operate in the reverse direction, preventing a creature of the specified type from leaving the circle and protecting targets outside it. You know in Supernatural, they surround themselves with salt?
Yeah.
That's what this is, in a big way. And Dan used it to great effect to thwart my 8 fucking vampires. I hit him with 8 vampires, which was CR 13 or 15 or something. And it was just such a one-sided battle that he was supposed to lose. And you guys almost just waltzed right out of that. You killed 4 of them.
I mean, you killed my character's daughter.
Yeah, but I had to wait for you to leave the circle. It was not a damn thing I could do because they didn't have ranged attacks, right? You do this with the horde of zombies.
Mm-hmm.
They can't willingly get at you and they don't have range. You sit inside and it lasts for an hour. And that last 10 minutes of that hour, you cast it again. Right? So you can chain this for a while. This thing is almost as good as Lehman's Tiny Hut. So Magic Circle is actually pretty damn powerful and it makes a lot of sense for this kind of...
Makes tons of sense.
How long does it last?
An hour.
An hour? Okay. Yeah.
You get a short rest.
Yeah, that's useful.
You get 6 cat naps.
You can only do one a day.
Not if you have 6 different people in the party that can cast it.
I think you can only benefit from the spell or its spell-like effect once.
It's in Xanathar's, right?
Yeah.
I will look that shit up.
Anyways, continue, Dave.
So now that I'm not being interrupted again.
Calm down.
The other 2 after Magic Circle were Banishment at 13th level and Hold Monster at 17th. Those can be useful. Again,
Yep.
That's good. The other thing you get at 3rd level is Hunter's Sense, which you gain the ability to appear to a creature and magically discern how best to hurt it. If it's within 60 feet of you, you immediately learn what it is immune to and what will hurt it more. So, I mean, that's pretty good, right?
Sidebar, you're right about catnap.
If the creature is hidden from divination magic, you can sense that it has no damage, immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities, which I kind of like that.
Yeah, I wish there were more vulnerabilities, and you know what? The next time that I DM, I'm going to do that. I'm going to start, the next time I build a world,
Yeah.
I'm going to start inherently adding vulnerabilities to be discovered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. The other thing I liked about the Hunter Sense is you can use this a number of times a day equal to your Wisdom modifier, minimum of 1. So you're not using this on everything you come across, which I like, because those are the kind of mechanics I find can really bog a game down, slow them down. You use it when you need it, when you come across that one thing.
Yeah.
Other than that, you get Slayer's Prey at 3rd level. This is just a bonus action. You designate a creature within 60 feet, and when you hit it, your first attack that round does an extra d6 damage.
Wow.
And that continues on to the next round afterwards. So you designate that target
You just do an extra d6 versus that thing.
on the first attack.
On the first attack that hits or the first attack?
When you target the creature with a weapon attack, it takes an extra 1d6 damage from that weapon. It's the first time on each turn.
That you hit it with a weapon attack.
And it lasts until you finish a rest.
Yes.
So if that guy runs, you can hunt him.
That's awesome.
This, I think what Dave is telling us right now is you're building Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The picture of the monster slayer
Yep. Not later.
has some pretty heavy Van Helsing vibes with her.
Oh, yeah. He's hunting vampires. Like it says it.
Yeah,
right,
she's
it's right there.
She is a blonde dwarf, of course. I get the same feel.
No, she's not.
Yeah. Continue.
The other thing I liked about it is you can use it as a bonus action, and it ends if you target a new creature. So you can kind of pick one guy over here and then the next guy. You don't have any maximum amount of times you can use it in a day. You just continue to use it as a bonus action. That's wonderful.
Yep.
Right? At 7th level, you gain supernatural defense. Okay? So essentially this just gives you extra resilient when, you know...
Oh, I thought it meant that you didn't have to watch seasons 8 through 10 of Supernatural.
Wasn't it 7 that was the worst with the Leviathans?
I liked the Leviathan until you realized what they were doing.
6 and 7 were trash. 8 started picking it back up. It was still
8
garbage. And
no.
9 and 10 actually were pretty decent.
No. 8 and 9 were all the tablet shit, and I had no time for that nonsense.
9 wasn't tablet.
9 was tablet.
Have you guys seen The Boys, the Amazon?
Yes.
No. Say nothing. That's what I'm doing this
It's-
weekend.
It has nothing to do with the plot. It's just a neat little Easter egg. Are you all right with that?
You're going to fuck my world,
All
okay?
right. No, plug your ears.
To be fair, I've read the comics in their entirety. So.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
So, in the last episode of the season, so you have to wait a long time to see it, at the beginning, they're talking to a character. And on Amazon Prime, you can pause it, and it shows you... with the
Trivia
actor,
and stuff like that.
Yeah, it shows you the actor and then the character that they're playing. And I paused it at this point. The character's just in it for like 10 seconds. It's not very much, just a little bit part. And I pause it, and it comes up. Actor's name, Jim Beaver.
Nice.
Character name, Robert Singer.
Nice.
So, there's a crossover.
There's a crossover.
All right.
Oh, his character's name's Robert Singer.
It doesn't come up at all. He's in it for 10 seconds. It's a throwaway, but it's the same character.
I also choose to believe that he was the same character in Breaking Bad. Because he does pop up for like a scene in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
In one of the later seasons. So,
So yeah.
Oh,
neat little
I
trivia.
100% headcanon now. Yeah.
It was just like the beginning of the episode before the credits rolled. It was just a little throwaway, nothing. The last episode ended. The next one was about to go, and I was like, I need to go get a drink for a second. Pause. Oh my god!
It's Bobby.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right. Cool. Right?
Yep. All right. Continue.
So supernatural defense. Essentially, if you have to make a saving throw, you get to add a d6 to it.
Okay.
That's it. Right. Pretty basic. Pretty straightforward. So it's all right.
But if you're hanging out with a paladin, you're laughing.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Especially if it's reasonable charisma, which paladins should be. At 11th level. You just trying to interrupt me.
No,
aren't you? No, see, I paused and you did it. See, I'm starting to get the hang of this.
You need to calm your tits too. Just tits for Dave. Hashtag just tits for Dave. God, I hope
this one.
I hope your inbox just floods.
Now you're getting an Instagram.
Oh damn!
It's just gonna be Dan without a shirt on over and over.
So you can, at 11th level, you get Magic User's Nemesis. You gain the ability to thwart someone else's magic. When there's a creature within 60 feet of you, you can use a reaction to try to magically foil its magic, which basically just makes it fail.
Oh, whoa. Really? How does that mechanic work?
So the creature
counter
must succeed on a wisdom saving throw against your spell save DC or its spell, or it also affects teleporting as well. The spell or the teleport fails and is wasted.
So it's counterspell.
Essentially, counter teleport, which I thought was kind of a nice.
That's really helpful for a lot of the demons and devils that are just gonna bamf out.
And it's a wisdom save DC. That's going to be a low DC, like a low save for a lot of different spell users.
Yeah.
Tries to teleport. No, but I'm a fucking demon.
I think that was our first Dogma reference on the show.
It was a strange one to...
Yeah, it's weird that we came up with two different shows that have a character named Metatron.
The voice of the one true God.
You have to stop mumbling that shit, Dave.
No.
All right, continue.
You can use this feature once per long or short rest. So you get it back if you short rest or long rest.
I like that you only get it once. I would be so mad if this stupid Monster Slayer Ranger was just all like, "Oh, you're a caster? No." Mm-hmm. And shut them down.
I like this because this is going to completely fuck up your wizard in the player versus player battle.
Yep.
But I mean, it's right in the description of Monster Slayer. He's targeting, magical threats, right? So it's perfect.
And sorry, what are the different ones again that you can target? Because it's not like plants and oozes. It's undead,
vampires, dragons, evil, fae, fiends, and other magical threats.
Okay, so, but no, wasn't there one about a sense that you got?
Hunter's sense?
Yeah, where you can just automatically know what are those?
You would know the immunities, resistances, and vulnerabilities.
Okay, so it really could be a humanoid then, right? Yep. A lot of the stuff is celestials, fiends, fae, and so on and so forth, right? So,
well, is not man the greatest of the monsters?
No.
Okay. Continue.
At 15th level, you get Slayer's Counter. Okay? So Slayer's Counter is you have the ability to counterattack when your prey tries to sabotage you. If they force you to make a saving throw, you immediately, before making the save, get to attack them. If your attack hits, you automatically succeed on the save.
How many times a day can you do this shit?
Probably once.
It just doesn't say.
As your reaction?
Yeah. Yes, you can use your reaction to make one weapon attack against your quarry.
And you automatically succeed if you hit them with the weapon.
Yeah, you make this immediately before making the saving throw. If it hits, your save automatically succeeds in addition to the attack's normal effect.
Fuck.
I love the idea of there being the spellcaster or whatever it is that is going to force you to make an intelligence save, which you're not going to have fucking
No.
points into, right? So
You shoot him in the throat
So
to
the
stop it.
DM is just like, okay, the fragile wizard raises his hand, make an intelligence save. He's like, hold on, I'm going to shoot him in the eyeball. And you hit, and it drops him below 0 hit points, and you just fucking end it. You're just like, I win. I will not make that save, motherfucker. Right? Like, I love that idea.
Make a saving throw. Actually, no.
What's your AC?
Actually, what's your AC there, wizard?
But, that's great. And 15th
Because at 15th level, like,
And
as a
that's-
ranger, you have plus 15 to hit a wizard.
Well, I mean, with the other 2 classes we covered, I mean, you get an ability... Oh, sorry, I was looking at spells. You get spells at 17th level. Where this one... I was looking...
Well, no. I mean, you get an ability at 15th level for all of them. This one is awesome.
Yeah, this one's
I love
great.
this ability.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful.
I like every single one of these subclasses.
Yep, me too.
And it more than makes up for the lacking nature of the ranger. And remember, the ranger is not a bad class. It was the subclasses, the hunter and the beastmaster, that were kind of womp.
Yeah.
Right? And the flavor at the beginning of this, finally the ranger is worthwhile and useful.
Yeah.
However, are they unbalanced?
I'd say
Are they OP?
overshot. I don't say they're OP. I think they overshot just a little. Because normal ranger is such an exploration-focused class. This brings a little bit of combat into
This
it.
brings a fuck ton of combat.
Well, I think
into it.
these, all 3 of these are very, very specific. If you take them out of their element, they're going to have a hard time keeping up with it.
Okay, yeah, but their elements are shadows,
Yeah.
the planes, which are on one, and anywhere there's a monster, you're playing D&D.
Well, a lot of it is specifically that monster there.
Sure, but I get what you're
Okay,
saying.
but Slayer's Counter, that only works if they can do something that makes you do a saving throw.
By the time you're 15th level, that's all they're doing. They're not trying to hit your AC anymore. There are very few monsters that are trying to hit your AC because they all have spells or a special layer ability or something that'll fuck you up by 15th level.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right, but I don't know how much time you spent in Tier 4, but I just lived in it for 6 months trying to DM it, and everything is save.
Yeah.
Right, so that's...
Pro tip, don't give your players legendary actions.
Yeah. All right, so... let's jump to a shout out real quick because everyone wants to hear more of Dan's voice.
This week's shoutout is for SW Gaming Society, the Southwest Gaming Society, at southwestgamingsociety.com or on Instagram at SW Gaming Society. This is a group of streamers and Dungeons & Dragons fans who stream actual play games on Wednesday nights with the Crit Chicks as well as many other streams throughout the week. Check them out at swgamingsociety.com.
Okay, gentlemen, so we've gotten to the end of another class episode. The last thing that I want to do is roll initiative to see what our unique builds are for each one of these. So I want a race to go with your own subclass that you covered, and not necessarily a background, but something unique, flavorful, or something about it. So let's grab our dice and roll in the box, Dan. I got a 3.
I got a 10.
I got a 17.
After you, Dave. What
Are you
got
sure?
for us?
I don't mind.
No, it's all you.
All right.
Hashtag just tits for Dave.
All right, so the one I was going to go with was a Kalishtar Horizon Walker. I think this is great. I think you could throw them in to hunt down one of the big monstrosities that we've covered actually before, the Astral Dreadnought.
Oh, yeah.
I think that you get maybe a couple of Horizon Walkers together to go up against...
I like that you're calling back your own episodes at this point because you were on the Eberron and the Astral Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Astral Sea? No. You were.
No, it was...
Well, so
monstrosities,
what that
yeah.
means is now that we've covered those topics, we never have to have Dave back. Right?
True.
Yeah, and I mean, if you take the Horizon Walker, the Kalishtar, and the Astral Dreadnought, and you put them in Eberron, you might have a Barbarian come by as well, and then I've covered all the episodes I've done recently.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but you have to find out about the Warlock patrons.
Right, and you know,
And then shoot Megan in the face.
Yeah.
naturally, perhaps halfway through, you could have someone arrive with a bail bag of holding to, ask some questions to the guy.
Hashtag injustice for Megan.
No. She had it coming.
Anyways, so you like the idea of The Kalashtar, who's all of it. Now, they're one of the races. For those of you that don't know, they're one of the races from Eberron.
Yeah, I like the idea of the Horizon Walker not just protecting the horizon of his plane, but going into other planes to seek out other threats.
So, Dave, can you explain to us real quick what is a Kalashtar?
It's a dream creature.
Yeah, they're like they are a humanoid race that is based out of the plane of dreams.
No,
right?
not quite. They're infected by creatures by spirits from the plane of dreams, and so they're almost got they're like dual souled, dual minded.
Okay.
So they kind of they're very pale, and they're almost like super elves in a lot of ways. As far as like that, they're kind of distant. They're kind of they hold themselves separate from the rest of the intelligent races, and they've got a lot of psychic stuff to them. So it makes a lot of sense that they would...
Horizon Walker, yeah.
Yeah, but I love the idea of swapping from the ethereal plane to the astral plane and back, or vice versa, right? Like, there's some interesting things that you can do. And I think that for Horizon Walker, getting eaten by an astral dreadnought has got to be one of the most frightening things ever, because you can't plane shift out.
Now, I wonder if you were there going ethereal, could you completely nullify its silver cord cutting ability?
It depends if you're there. If you are projecting yourself in, can you go ethereal there?
I would say yes.
You can have you can have your astral projection move to the ethereal plane from the astral sea.
Yes. I would let you do it purely because the astral sea is that space in between all of the planes, and the ethereal plane is a transitive plane that is there for travel. So
they're both they're the two transitive planes.
Yeah. I would let you jump between one or the other with
keeping in mind that you can only stay in the ethereal plane for very short periods of time.
Yeah.
But shit, and something in the ethereal plane grabs a hold of you and comes back to the astral sea.
There's so much you could do with this.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, I also like the idea, like, let's remove making it a Kalashtar and
make it a Warforged?
God damn it, Dave.
God damn it, Dave. No, not that. I mean, having some sort of mechanical way that shunts you into the ethereal plane and then shunts you back. Whenever I think of Warforged, I want to have all of their abilities have like a mechanical,
they're not robots.
I know they're not robots, but they're fucking robots. Anyway, so what I would do is have
constructs, Dan. Constructs.
Yeah, they're robots who
no.
just no.
No!
Have this guy be a genasi, make him from another plane of some sort. Have this guy be a tiefling or a Asimar, some other flavor of the planes. Fits very well with the Horizon Walker.
Something from the Feywild.
Something from the Feywild.
Make him a gnome. The only one that's inherently from the Feywild, the only playable race is Eladrin.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it fits for this. It fits so well.
Yep.
Right? So, yeah, man, I love that idea. I think I'm next.
You are.
Right?
Are you sure? He interrupts people sometimes.
You have not been listening to the podcast if you think that we don't fucking interrupt people on this. That's Terry's whole gimmick. That's Dan's whole gimmick. I wait patiently for my turn. Continue, Dan.
Shit.
Continue, please.
You're fucking taking the goddamn high road, and everyone knows you're on the lowest of the fucking roads. Anyways, I love the Monster Slayer. I love the single-minded, targeted nature of them. It makes me feel like the 3.5 Rangers of yore are back when I play a Monster Slayer. So the thing I want to do with the Monster Slayer, who is, everything I look for when I play a Ranger, I want to play that either dwarven or human. I don't care what race this guy is, but he is a tried and true veteran adventurer, right? In every way, shape, or form. This is the guy who is his entire goal in life is to set up a hunter's guild or something like that, where he just is a bit of a trophy hunter, just with evil big bad evil
again,
guys.
I'm coming back to Supernatural in this.
That's
the
where
hunters.
I was too.
Yeah,
coming back to like getting the network all across the country.
Men of Letters, right? Like, like that's what this guy is.
I fucking hated season 9 and 10.
He's setting it up. He's running it. He's got a little bit of Van Helsing in him. I know it's technically third party, but I throw a little bit of Blood Hunter in with this guy as well, just for an alchemist artificer kind character, just for that added little bit of flavor to him. As a straight up unabashed, dyed in the wool read, like he is the cover and the inside of the book. Like he is everything you need. Just adventurer. Like to me, this is the iconic. This is the guy I want to play more than anything else right now. Is specifically a dwarven for me. I want to play a dwarven monster slayer.
Someone tall. You're getting better. You're in medium, but tall. Dan, play a tall fucking race.
I'm tall every day of my life. I'm allowed to play something short.
Why dwarf?
Why dwarf?
Yeah.
Monster slayers have this. To me, they have this kind of narrative of being committed and driven and disciplined and forward and all that other stuff, and nothing speaks to that more than a dwarf in my mind. They're the ones who are like, oh, we're hunting a vampire now? Okay, well, here's all the information I have on vampires. I'm going to share that with everybody, and we're going to do this vampire thing. Oh, you want to go shopping? Fuck no. We're getting what we need to kill a vampire, and then we're killing a vampire. We're killing a vampire now. We're going to leave now to go kill the vampire? I can tell you, the vampire's over there. We could go kill him. Let's just go kill the vampire now.
Dragonborn also seems that focused as well.
So are, as Dan would say, robots, huh?
Warforged, you can make a Warforged Monster Slayer as well, too. I guess.
Well, it would be great against vampires. You're not going to,
Yeah, they can't suck your blood. You don't got any.
Yes, they can. You're still an organic being. It's not 3.5. You're not made of motor oil and circuitry.
You have metal as part of you. And wood.
Tieflings have fucking... what are
horns?
Dave, you know what are horns made out of?
Bone. It's essentially bone.
Isn't there a special word for it?
Horn bone? No, wait, that's something else.
Terry?
Terry?
So, horn bone.
Okay, Adam, what you got for us?
We talked about Terry's goth girlfriend in the last episode, so here comes Hornbone.
Here comes the Hornbone.
Hornbone's ready.
I feel like that's going to be Jack Black's next band. All right, so I'm gonna Dave. You all right?
Or Maynard's. Or Maynard's.
Yeah.
It's Jack Black or Maynard.
So the thing is that no one can hear Dave laugh. He just does the very quiet shudder.
He's got the belly chuckle. Like that's what Dave's got.
So anyway, fuck off. The Gloom Stalker to me is a lot of fun when you play with the dichotomy of it. The word gloom right in it makes me feel like it's you want to be a Shatterkai or a Drow or some other elf, but there's some sort of sadness or upset or edgelord or whatever. And I loved playing my halfling, who was just the perkiest, happiest guy that was a little bit tone deaf, didn't really understand how the world worked, and was had never really seen a civilization before. He was raised on the farmstead, out in the woods, with his 37.
Something like that.
I came up with puns for every name. There was something like every single one of them had a joke about them. But he was just super happy. And that's why his betrayal really threw a lot of people off, right? And
you were kind of the heartbeat of the party before you turned on everybody.
That's just because I had the experience. Yeah. I was not the driving force of the party. I was
not at all.
But I was definitely the role player. I was the face of the party, the walking in to say, hi, how are you? And I love the idea of the Gloom Stalker that just appears from the darkness, from the shadows. It pops out of nowhere and goes, hey, I found a penny! And it's just like super upbeat. And Anya from Buffy.
Yep.
Right? That a little bit dumb, completely unaware of social etiquette. Charisma, insight is as a negative modifier, right? Like,
but will disappear in the shadows and eviscerate a bunny.
Yeah, and then
nice.
Yeah, but then we'll and will come back covered in bunny guts and want to throw a little party, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, it's your birthday.
Yes.
Right?
This one speaks to me. I've done that.
Yeah, have you?
Yes.
What did you play?
No, I literally was covered in bunny guts.
Oh, shit, Dave.
Like yesterday?
No, like, I mean, I go hunting out in the woods and got a bunny.
Then why do you bathe in the blood?
Well, I mean...
How else do you stay
You
young?
don't wash your hands, right? I mean, if it's not raining, you don't like...
You don't get warm water out there, right? You want to get nice warm...
You two are very disturbing.
Anyway, no, I like the idea of playing the perky, happy...
Contrast to the gloom, yeah.
To the gloom, and that's... I would really lean into something like a spring Eladrin, or a halfling, or even a goblin that's just a little bit like silly, right? And I want them to be the comedic factor of the party.
Yeah, I would actually, if you are running a game or you are at a
my
table,
god, multi-class with I said assassin, and that really
Glamour Bard.
Glamour Bard.
Yeah.
So you just like burst into the room from the shadows. Hello, let's rock!
Burst into the room full of color and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I freaking love it. But if you are in a party or you sit at a table with somebody who is like that persistent ever edgelord, like every character they ever make is a rogue or a Gloom Stalker or something like that, and all of their parents have always been dead, like that guy. The way I see out of that is encourage them to play the contrast. They like the mechanics of the class. Let them play the mechanics. Get them to play the contrast with the roleplay.
Or vice versa. So you are the edgiest glamour bard of all time.
Yeah.
We're going to get some weird hair metal going on, right? Like, we're going to return to the 80s.
And I'm part of this Swedish death metal band.
Yeah. Right. So, no, I like the Gloom Stalker. It wants to multi-class.
It does.
There's a lot of good stuff in it. Like even later in it, there's some good stuff, but it wants to multi-class. So, and I'm just now thinking about. I've got 2 copies of Xanathars in front of me for some reason. I'm just now thinking about what the Ranger has to offer at high levels, and look at that right to the page.
Nicely done.
Yeah. And at high level, you get feral senses. So you, when you attack a creature that you can't see, your inability to see it doesn't impose disadvantage in your attack rolls, right? And you are also aware of the location of any invisible creature. That's useful, but at 18th level, seems a little underpowered.
Yeah.
And at 20th level, you become the unparalleled hunter of your enemies with Foe Slayer. You can add your wisdom modifier to attack or damage rolls. That's a little underpowered.
I'm okay to scrap both of those to get a little bit of assassin.
Exactly, right? Which I think you get the assassinate thing
At level 3.
At level 3.
It's right away.
So, assassinate starting at level 3, yeah.
And their other ability to like have their second persona that assassins get. Your character disappears into darkness,
the shadows
and then comes out as somebody else.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of fun. So, anyway, any final thoughts, guys, on the Xanathar Rangers or what Xanathars has to offer?
It made Rangers fun again in my mind. I did not like Rangers before. With 5e, Rangers used to be one of my favorite classes in 3.5. It was like I'm either playing a Ranger or Barbarian, guys. What do you want? Right? And I kind of felt let down by 5e Rangers. This made up for it. I want to play a monster set. I want to play each one of these, except for a Gloom Stalker. I'm not really interested in a Gloom Stalker to play myself. Like they're just, I don't want to play the Edgelord. So, but the
if you want to play Edgelord, you're gonna go play Vampire Masquerade.
Yeah, and I've got stories about that. I love that game, but playing the Monster Hunter, and just being an adventurer. God damn it! We mentioned how this is this is the only class that's kind of marketed as a profession. You are the adventurer, not an adventurer. The adventurer, right? Like you are the guy who's pulling notices off the corkboard at the bar, right? I just love it. It feels like D&D to me.
Dave?
So we started this talking about the views of the world, homeland, and sworn enemy, and I think we all really decided that we didn't like
There's nothing there.
that.
Hot garbage.
It's not even hot garbage. It's flavorless porridge. There's nothing to it.
Yep, but I gotta say, all in all, I like it. I mean, how many times have you been asked, what class and do you identify with the most? I never before today would have said Ranger, but yeah, no, this speaks to me. I like this. I could really sink my teeth into some of these, and I mean, even from the Gloom Stalker, who's fighting from the shadows, that's an interesting
Take on the hunter.
Yeah, the Horizon Walker, where you're protecting your realm.
You're big on conservationist stuff as well. I mean,
huge.
Yeah, you can have your own podcast about that.
Probably, yeah.
It'd be mostly about ducks, probably.
Look. You know what? That's something to actually talk about. Not ducks, fuck off. but the conservation side of things. We're going to circle back to Rangers one more time to cover the revised Ranger subclasses, way in the future. So. Yeah. I know how many episodes of the classes are coming out, and maybe we should get Dave back to talk about conservation perspective that a ranger might have.
Yeah, okay.
So I play a Storm Herald Barbarian in my Tuesdays, and one of their things is they seek out ocean polluters. It's a Triton, right? So they seek out polluters and other people that are, not friends of nature. This is, that is something that's quite important to me. But and I mean, Monster Slayer as well. Like that's a great classic take on a class, like on a specific
kind of person that hunts, right? Like,
yeah. You said it: Vampire Slayer, Van Helsing, the Supernatural Hunters, that kind of thing. It's classic.
Yeah.
Right. So I really didn't like them when we first started, but now I'm sold.
I feel like Monster Slayer is just a better version of Hunter.
Yeah.
Hunter's got a little bit more exploration stuff. If you want a combat hunter, it's Monster Slayer. I don't know. Like, yes, it came alive. For me, my final thought is the subclasses here made them come alive. It was fantastic. I think that all of the flavor around the Ranger is bullshit, and you've got to do your work, and you have to work with your DM to make sure that what your thoughts are going to be applicable to what the campaign is. Mm-hmm. And they're going to need to know some of your inherent powers and what you can do, especially your Horizon Walker and Gloom Stalker shit, right? Because if you're going to be a Gloom Stalker, you don't want to be out in the desert in the day. Maybe a couple of times, but you're aiming for the Underdark campaign with this shit, right?
Yeah, it's very pointed.
Yeah, you're going to want to be in Curse of Strahd with the Gloom Stalker. Probably not with the Horizon Walker, though. That's going to break a couple of things. But look. All in all, I feel like this rescued the Ranger. I was pretty disappointed with everything up until this point, except the revised Ranger, which I really like. And this kind of made it a little bit better. I haven't looked at any of the new UA stuff that's come out for Rangers.
Some of it's been pretty decent. A lot of it's been overpowered.
Well, that's what UA is for. It's for power creep, right? Like it, and we can see the power creep here from what happened in the player's handbook to what happened in Xanathar.
Exactly.
So, well, I guess that's it for this week's episode on Rangers. So you guys that are listening, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and YouTube, as well as dozens of other podcast apps. You can also find us at www.itsamimic.com or email us at info@itsamimic.com. Thanks for listening to the It's a Mimic podcast, and make sure to check us out in a couple of weeks, because we're going to have brand new content that breaks the mold as we figure out what we can do from a technological standpoint amid this global crisis, this pandemic that everyone is dealing with. So expect that there will be new and interesting and outside of the box ideas, because we here at It's a Mimic are about inspiration and entertainment and Dan's bondage furniture.
And you never know what you're going to get.
That's
Hashtag
right.
Justice for Dave.
Just tits for Dave.
You've reached the end of another episode of the It's a Mimic podcast. Connect with us at itsamimic.com. Don't forget to subscribe and hit those share buttons. Thanks for listening, and see you next week.
All right, I got a question for you guys. All right, just popped into my head.
Hit me.
All right.
Oh, please hit him.
No, here.
No. You said hit for him to hit you.
Well, I was looking at him, but I was talking to you. I like it better.
He wants to be hit from behind by you.
Dan, it's not my foot.
I'm very concerned.
Listen. There are two classes or types of monsters that are really just given the short end of the stick that nobody ever thinks about. They're oozes and plants. There's a Rangers episode that we just finished doing. Off the top of your head, can you come up with some sort of deadly plant monster and throw it in a tier? Not necessarily a level, a CR, but a tier, and what kind of crazy thing that it might do? Just real quick. You don't have to get into the stats or anything. Just like there's the shambling mound. It gets up, it follows you around, and it tries to engulf you, right? Mm-hmm. And we know what tier that you're going to find that in, right? So, let's roll initiative. 1, 2, 3.
Well, I'm going to go last with a 2.
I'm going with a 7. Dave, you're first.
With a 10.
Yeah.
Okay, so, first of all, I just want to say that you said ooze and, stuff like that. And I immediately, I don't know why, I started thinking about the Kool-Aid Man. Okay? Is he the liquid or is he the glass jar?
No. He's a glass jar.
But if you removed the liquid...
he would still walk around as some sort of ghost-like entity.
So what's with the stuff in him? Why doesn't it ever fall out when he comes crashing through walls?
Because he is so robust and whatnot. And that isn't Kool-Aid. That is the blood of the children that are running from him.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, then I don't have an idea.
That's it? You just...
I don't know. An animated pitcher that swings around black ooze at things.
Yeah, I mean, it's like if it took over like a Warforged Colossus, like it's just like...
Oh God, of course.
Of course.
That took 15 seconds for Dave to bring up Warforged.
Right?
So, no, okay, hold on. No, bear with me on this. Think about what it would be like to have a gelatinous cube with ghostly arms and legs that can smash through shit, that can solidify hard enough. That is what the Kool-Aid Man is, right?
Right.
And he is painted in, I'm going to say in blood in the D&D world, a happy face on the front of him to just kind of calm people down. It is misguided and misplaced, but he will come for you. I'm going to say that he's going to be a tier 3 monster.
He could be.
Tier 2. When you really dive into the horror level things, tier 2 is the place to do it.
This sounds like an aberration. This is the thing that will unmercilessly stalk everyone.
To me, this sounds like a monstrosity. This sounds like something that some evil wizard has put together and been like, I know gelatinous cubes are gelatinous cubes, but what if we gave it arms, legs, and a smile?
And his finishing move is to grapple. And then, like,
free hugs.
A
Make him love that
kind of thing where he sticks you in the top and melts you.
And it's got a hardened outer layer, so the only way out is up, and you can't swim up through that.
So you guys just abandoned the gelatinous cube altogether then? Because I was going with the gelatinous cube. That was kind of ghostly. But I guess you guys went construct?
Yeah.
Well, construct, vats full of acid, construct.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, and I think this Warforged thing, like the big Colossus that you can ride in, I think that I like this because Power Rangers and like the Zords all coming together. And you get like 6 Warforged and they like plug into each other and you get this giant one.
Yeah, no, I get that. But how would this work with the news?
I don't know. I'm just rambling, Dan.
Are you saying like it's
I'm
joints?
on a tangent.
Or would you say that it's joints?
Down.
Like drip this viscous fluid?
Yeah, you get your yellow ochre and your
black
red
pudding.
Yeah, and your
gray ooze.
Exactly. You see, you're getting it.
Your
green slime.
Yep. White. Never mind. Anyways, so Dan. Oh no, you're going last.
Yeah, no, I'm going last. Thankfully.
Okay. For me, I'm super interested in mosses. We haven't seen anything with mosses yet. I like the.
There's one thing that's kind of moss-like.
It's a demon, though. It doesn't count.
It's a demon. And I like that it's a demon.
Yeah, but it's intelligent. I want this to just be like the infection of the spores. Like a town is slow. It's half disease, but then half monster.
Okay.
Right? So you can see that people are starting to be affected by it. And you've got let's say greater restoration is the only way to get rid of it. And how many people can you cure with greater restoration at a given time? And this thing takes over villages and towns, right? Where a handful of people get sick, and then they start to move. And you zombify them by the end of it, right? Like,
It's like that zombie spore thing.
Yeah, I really like that. We don't have enough of that in D&D. And I think that would be truly horrifying because that is a problem that you cannot solve even at tier 4. You can heal, you can kill, but you cannot cure.
There are some ways to cure. If you're a high-level cleric, there's going to be some ways to mass remove disease.
Can't paladins use a certain
Yeah,
amount
they could
of
use their lay of hands to get rid of it at some
Yeah,
point.
but when there's 1,000 people infected and they infect another 100 people every day.
Well, I mean, that's when you start bringing in isolation and
telling people to stay home.
telling people to stay home.
Right, okay, this shit just got real.
Start buying lots of toilet paper.
So I'm going to go with...
Is toilet paper in D&D just special elven leaves?
No, okay. Internet and everybody around, use your hand, wash your hands. If you're really down to it.
That's why you have 2 socks, Dan.
No, that's not why you have 2 socks. You have 2 socks to keep 2 feet warm.
Both of you are wrong. Both of you are wrong.
We don't want to know what you use your tube socks for.
We all keep those brushes beside the toilet for a reason, right?
Did you see that video?
Oh my
Just
God.
as an aside?
No.
Hold on.
Oh, whoa.
There's a
Stop it.
video.
Whoa,
There's a video.
All right, now, guys, I'm
No.
out.
Yeah. Take me with you.
So for mine, because Adam's sitting here talking about...
Are we done? Like, isn't that a great place to end the put on the thing on the end?
Dan doesn't get one.
I think that, well, you didn't have one. I didn't really. It was just COVID, apparently. And
Thank you for listening to an It's a Mimic production.
Okay, you're done. Get it.